Okay, so I just hit record. Max, I mean, I'm sure that a lot of people know you, but do you want to like introduce yourself?
How should I introduce myself?
However you want, man.
When I was 18, I played League of Legends professionally, and it wasn't so cool. So I asked LS what to do, and he said you should go to Korea and play solo queue. So I went to solo queue, and I started losing to diamond players. Now it's 2020, and I'm challenger in NA. So I don't know what's really changed. I would still lose to diamond players in Korea. There's not really any difference, Dan. Okay.
Okay, all right. So I guess, I mean, you lived with LS for 2 years. What do you think? What are some of the things that
Mhm.
you think you learned? I guess is it like, do you think
Um,
you learned like his like mindset or like how he approaches the game or like what are some of like the core things that you took from LS?
yeah. So it's sort of like um, the way he talks about the game, whether he like intends to do this or not, is sort of like he's engineering ways to play the game better. Um, I don't know if he intends to like think about the game this way or talk about the game this way, but like the way that he thinks about solutions or the way he thinks about like problems,
Hmm.
it's like he's an engineer and he's trying to like make a new solution to a problem that like no one has solved before.
Right.
So that the way the things that I pick up from that or the way I think about it is like I can't think like the people who are like at Worlds now or who are professional players now. You have to think of it like it's a problem that's yours to solve. So you have to be thinking in different ways than other people because you'll never get past where other people are at thinking like how they think.
Okay. So I guess then the next question I think it would come out from this would be, how do you think, like, I don't know, as a player maybe, or even how you view the game changed from before you went to, I guess, live and basically grow with LS as to
Mm-hmm.
like before and after? Like, how is that? How is that like? What are some of the big changes that came from before and after LS?
Yeah, so when you're like 18 playing League of Legends for fun, and then you get challenger and become like a professional player, um, there's a lot of like fundamental information that you would end up missing. Um, so what ends up happening is you go to Korea and you talk to this person who like lives in some like crazy apartment that I've never been in before because I like live in Missouri my whole life, and you go up in the air and you live with this person for 2 years, and you're like the way that you have to think about the game is you have to have a reason for everything that you do. So it's very much like I go to this different fucking planet. Okay, I go to this different world and I sit in this bubble for 2 years and I think, why do I do the things that I do? Or like, why do I think the way I think even? To the point where like I'm trying to put intention behind all the things that I actually end up doing.
Mm,
So this is sort of the biggest thing that has changed is now when I want to do something, I have to ask why until I get to the very bottom of it. And it's sort of like this rigorous thought process that I go through with everything now, to the point where like everything that I do has to have a good reason, for better or for worse. Yeah.
right. So again, talking about a little bit about your time here, you've also been part of the you've been part of BBQ as well, right? Working on the side as a positional coach, helping players out with the laners and stuff. Um, I know that. Do you want to talk about that experience and maybe like some of the things that you learned from that, or is there nothing to comment on that matter?
Yeah. So at B, I learned how to practice because the ways of thinking that we spent so much time building up, like really fundamentally, finally got put into practice at BBQ. So it was sort of like this build up where we're thinking about how we should practice or how we should think about the game. And then we get to this point at BBQ where we have the resources and the opportunities to put it all into practice. So at BBQ, I saw lots of different like ideas and lots of different ways of thinking about the game and playing the game and practicing, where I learned a lot about like how other people learn or what are effective ways to like teach people League of Legends and like how you do these things really efficiently. This is how we like optimize practice and this is how we should be thinking about practicing so that we can do things faster and like learn things faster and gain information in a more efficient, more optimized way.
Mm-hmm.
So this was because BBQ had a different system of practicing where we would scrim other teams, but we tried to do internal practice as much as possible because we thought that it was just more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right.
so we ended up playing many more games of practice than like a team might normally do, because everything was just in between like 10 players that we could just get together and ask to do like basically in houses with.
Right. 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 Okay. So I guess we can start talking about like worlds and like what's happening, and the whole purpose of this like of the stream slash this part of the interview is to talk about why some of these champions, such as like Renekton, such as Lee Sin, why are some of these champions still being picked, but despite being so low in the tier in terms of like like people like teams know that these champions are pretty shit right now, but like why are these champions still being picked? And I guess your general thoughts on just the drafts themselves coming out. I guess we can just focus on like the top teams. We can talk about G2 and we can talk about, tests as well, but I do want to have our focus more on Damwon Gaming and Suning because they are the ones talking, or they're the ones that are playing in the finals, right? So yeah, the first question I guess I would have to ask you would be, first of all, why Renekton? Why Lee Sin? Why are these champions still being picked?
I don't think teams know that these champions are bad. I think teams think they're actually really good, because I don't think many teams really fundamentally understood or understand how things like push work, or understand how like um, oh yeah, it's a big problem to unpack. There's a lot of like fundamental information missing about like what you're trying to accomplish in a game of League of Legends and like what types of characters or like what type of gameplay like brings you there the best way. So people like Renekton because he can win a lot of trades and he can get push and he can dive a lot of characters. The
Mm,
problem, the problems begin when your opponents begin accounting for these things, and they begin playing the game with those ideas in mind. That's what Renekton wants to do, and that's what Lee Sin wants to do. And if they aren't able to accomplish that goal very early into the game, there's a lot of problems that come up for them against characters that have more options, than characters like Renekton and Lee Sin that have to just go in and like get this early advantage. Um, Now, an interesting question is if they're always bad, which I don't think I have a great answer to if they're always bad. But
mm, mm.
they're obviously picked far too often if you have a clear understanding of how things like push work and how like jungle proximity works, and how you're able to like account for your opponent's highest priority in game.
Okay. So then I guess the next question would be, well, first of all, what is your like focus to like when it comes to draft? What does it mean for you to, like the term win draft? What does it mean to win draft for you?
So winning draft is pretty simple if we're just talking like generally winning draft. You just want to make it easier on yourself. You'll have to do less than your opponent. You'll have less responsibility to act than your opponent. Um, so there's a lot of different ways to look at this because we can plug a lot of drafts into this sort of equation where it's just like less responsibility. Like what exactly does that mean? Um, let's say like an early game draft would have to pressure a like late game scaling draft early on. If the early game draft only has like 10 minutes and they don't have a lot of resources to actually like punish this late game scaling draft, it would be pretty clear to say that like the late scaling draft has less responsibility to act and that they would have better circumstances because they're only the only difficult part of the game for them would be like these first 10 minutes, these first like 15 to 18 waves where they're playing like pretty harshly. But if they can get past that, and most teams, I think, if they really think about it, they actually can because the players are good enough. If you don't have to do very much past a certain point in the game, other than like group for objectives and like walk forward slowly, it seems to be that like that draft seems easier to play.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, there's a lot of different ways to define it.
So, usually I think that when people talk about like winning draft or whatever, um, I think that people have this conception where the harder you scale into the late game, like you just automatically win draft. If you pick
Mhm.
early game champions, I guess in this level of League of Legends where um, they just don't stop you like mechanically, right? There's no mechanic. I would say there's little to no mechanical outplays unless someone like really makes a lot of mistakes or whatever. Um, so like we're all assuming that teams are playing at a level that are pretty close to one another. I guess most teams, right? Especially when it comes to like semifinals or like the finals or whatever. Um, in that case, do you think that just outscaling drafts are just outright better than like early game drafts, or like how does it work exactly?
Yeah, so this question's going to end up being like a little loaded, whether it's intentional or not. Um, because if you just outscale, it isn't enough based off that. You have to be able to actually reach that point in the game where like reasonably reach that point in the game where you've actually outscaled your opponent. So if I pick a comp that outscales you, but you have three winning lanes, I'm never going to get to the point where I've actually like the characters have actually gone stronger than yours if I'm getting pushed in all three lanes because I have bad laning matchups. So while I don't think it's like totally impossible or totally unreasonable that you could have three lanes getting pushed in, you could still win the game because you outscale. This is fairly bad circumstances, and you would generally say that like if all three lanes are getting pushed in and that team is playing well, the team with pushing three lanes has like the advantage regardless of some scaling factor. So there has to be a balance in these drafts, and this is like this gray area where we have to talk about specifics and we have to talk about like what exactly certain champions do and what can they do if players had a very clear idea of what they wanted to do or what they were trying to achieve in the game. So yeah, it's a whole lot of information to unpack.
Okay. Do you think that at least like strictly speaking from like the top four teams, let's say, right? Do you think that teams have a good idea of factoring in what the champions are able to do? Like, do you think they have a good grasp of what you just explained?
Um, hmm. With a lot of champions, I think so. With other champions, no. It
Mm,
sort of depends on the champion. Like for a long time, you would have seen like Orin's buying Frozen Gauntlet.
right,
Um,
right.
we still see like Ashes building like Blade the Ruined King fairly unnecessarily. There's a lot of people who play characters and build bad items. That's a pretty common thing to see. But I guess that might be a different question than do they know what they're doing with their champion,
Mm,
like mechanically, and they know what their champion can do mechanically. Um, and
mm,
even this is sort of confusing because what a player can do with a champion is different um, from what they know in terms of like laning. So I would say that like individual champion mechanics are probably like players at Worlds are going to see like that's their strongest ability and like that's their strongest factors. They know like what their specific champion can do like with their abilities. But then when you get into like, well, how do you use those specific factors and variables to control things like minion waves? Or how do you use this information to factor in like what items are you going to buy? Now it's like we hit a wall because I don't think we've experimented enough. I don't think we've thought about these things critically for long enough.
mm.
I don't think we've actually been able to practice in the right circumstances for long enough to like reach these conclusions about like different items or different ways to play laning phases where I think Worlds players really understand what their champion does with its abilities, but past that, we don't have like a super great understanding
Okay.
generally.
One of the things that you mentioned when it comes to champions in the meta is playing, maximizing the champion potential to the point where you don't even factor in human error. And you talked about how like, oh, Zillion is a really good pick, like top lane, like same as Malphite or whatever. And you also mentioned something like I think can't remember exactly when it was, but you also mentioned that Lucian, um, Lucian is it's like prone to make human error or something. I correct me if I'm wrong, okay? But when it comes to coaching with you, how much of human error do you account for when you like guide players on like in terms of like the draft or just I don't know. I
Mhm.
guess in yeah, just in general, I guess.
So yeah, you're always accounting for things like human error. So I don't want to draft like my top laner Fiora if I don't have a good idea that he will like win the laning phase with Fiora. Um, so the idea is that we want to make laning phases, we want to make team fighting, we want to make like a large majority of the game easy on the team that I'm drafting for. So easy here would mean like there's not a whole lot of responsibility for you to like make crazy mechanical outplays or to like um, to play above what's needed of you if like you were doing something um, it has to do with the specific interactions that you're going to have with your opponents. So I'll work off this like Lucian example, where Lucian has to play very close to his opponent, and
Mhm.
Lucian has to use like constant dashes and trying to reduce his dash cooldown so he gets multiple dashes, so he's able to dodge spells constantly. This takes a lot of mechanical skill, and this takes a large understanding of like what all these characters can do around Lucian.
Mhm.
The requirement of you is not just that you understand Lucian, it's that you understand all of the characters in the game. And while that's still necessary of characters like Ziggs and Karthus and Zillion and Malphite, it's to a lesser extent where the characters have um, more ways of interacting with the opponents where
Mhm.
the opponents can't interact with them.
Right.
So there's less wiggle room for your opponent because it's harder to interact with these champions.
Okay. Another question that I do want to ask you is, especially in a best of three or a best of five setting, let's say, I guess in game one you just ban out like the comfort picks or like some champions that the other team might be good at, right? And let's like we've seen over and over again, like in matches where a champion worked out in favor for a team, but then the team just didn't ban that champion just because I don't know if it's like cockiness or if they felt like they can deal with the champion, so like it's okay. um you know and do you think that you should factor in the fact that, oh, this champion is working in this series right now, so we should contemplate heavily whether or not we should ban this or champion A or whatever, right? Um, should that kind of accountability be factored in a best of five or a best of three setting?
Um, so if we go into a game one and let's say our opponents pick something that's like not expected and we end
Hmm.
up losing the game, there's a lot of responsibility on the team that loses to be able to look at the game and critically think about how much of an impact that character actually made. And if that character that they picked that we didn't necessarily expect was a large factor in them winning the game. Because a lot of times, new characters will get picked, um, and they might not even play a huge role in winning the game. But then in the next game of the series, the team will ban it.
Hmm.
It's a very interesting thing because it gives you like it lets you in on that team's thought process, where in some ways they are assigning like some sort of responsibility to that champion for winning the game. Um, and sometimes it's hard to describe this like generally in all cases. Sometimes it's the case, and sometimes it's really obviously not. But when I think about these things, or when I think about like a 5 game series where like a new champion would come in that I haven't considered before, um, you have to take it case by case. You aren't just banning the champion because they pick something you didn't expect. You
Hmm.
have to be able to look at the game and see what the champion does and see if it is really make or break for like their team comp or like against your team comp. So it just really depends on what's actually going on with that character that got picked. But yeah, if you're referring to like Scion, for example, I don't think the
Uh-huh.
Scion was such a big deal.
Okay, okay. All right, so Max, you can see my screen, right? On Discord.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just play out the draft. I'm not gonna get into the game. And maybe you can just provide some comments as the draft goes. And then if you want me to pause, just tell me to pause, okay?
Okay.
All right. So the game starts here,
G2, it's empowering.
and I'll actually mute the stream because maybe I'll make it 1.5. Oh, look at the G2 players smiling. They're having fun. Yada yada yada. The first band's still not coming out. Hold on. Oh, yeah. So I guess we can.
Mm.
Okay, so and
Oh,
yeah. So they just like started and then. So initial thoughts here. What do you think? Do you want me to keep playing or?
oh no, yeah, just sit here for a second.
Okay.
So I always try to find out what bands mean,
Okay.
because I never get a clear idea of like why these like first round bands come in, and they sort of like look random for me really often. Where
Hmm.
like I don't know if like Damwon feel like first pick Ornn is coming in, or if they can't respond to first pick Ornn, so they feel like they have to ban it immediately, and then like why the Volibear ban comes in. Like I'm not very able to like assign some like causal links to these things. It doesn't seem like these picks are. It doesn't seem like these bans are something that happen because of like a greater draft plan. It seems to be more like these bans happen because of like scrim results or because of like what characters seem or what players seem to be comfortable with playing in scrims. So whenever I look at the bans, I try to pull reasonings out of them, but I never seem to like do a good job of it to the point where I sort of just overlook the bans and try to like look at the draft like post hoc and see like was there a good reason for any of these bans? Could any of these characters have been like really useful? And a lot of times when I do this, I'll see that like the second round bans are much more informative and much more important to like how the actual draft went. But the first three bans seem to be really confusing for me. So we can play from here.
Okay. So the Shen band comes out from Daman Gaming, and the Lucian is being first picked.
Well, Lucian first pick. Okay. So Lucian first pick is a dead giveaway of like what the comp is going to look like. They're going to pick like short range engage. They're probably going to pick like I don't know. What is Lucian? I guess Lucian first pick here is like Lucian top, Lucian mid.
Hmm.
Um, so you can still pick like a different mid laner. You can still pick a different top lane. You probably hold for now,
Can it
and
not
let it.
go AD carry? You don't.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't. Okay. So Daman pick up Jin and TF in R1, R2, and
Solution mid, Renekton top, Lily jungle. Okay. I mean, it's a short range comp. It's going in. It's so easy. Like this is a Malphite. This is red three Malphite. Red
mm,
third pick Malphite. Ban Silas. And I don't know who else. Ban Silas and something. Fuck. I don't know. Oh, Hecarim. Okay. I don't think Hecarim's so bad either. But that's a fat Malphite, guys. That's a fat Malphite ban Silas. Because I guess if you don't ban Silas, they could go Lucian AD carry, and then they pick Silas and they put Renekton top, Silas mid, Lucian AD carry. If you go
hmm.
Malphite,
Hmm.
uh, oh wait, did I say that right? It's Silas matches Malphite, and then matches TF, and
Right.
then Lucian goes bot. So if you go Malphite and you ban Silas, I think you have a really really good chance of winning. Also because their draft is so short range and they have to go in. It's so easy for Malphite to win this game. Where I don't maybe something I'm not seeing here, but
Mm. I wanna
I don't think it's effective.
I wanna ask you a question that I guess I'm personally curious about. And that's Kennen. I think that LCK teams are the only teams. I think it's the only league that uses that plays Kennen. I think.
Mhm.
While the other teams or like teams in the other regions don't play him. So what are your thoughts on Kennen?
If I'm G2, I wouldn't ban Kennen. I would want them to pick something like Kennen so that they would agree to fight me in like close quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I'm Renekton, Lucian, Lilia, I don't want to be. I only want to be close to my opponent. Like I just want to be fighting them all the time, like creating chaos. That's why I pick these champions. I want to play early game like really aggressively. I want to like use push to just keep fighting. And if Kennen will agree to that, like this is the game that G2 wants to play. So
Okay. So the Ash Tom Kench ban coming in from Delmon in the second round ban, and the Pantheon ban comes out from G2. And I know that you have not very nice things to say about Tom Kench.
yeah, I don't think G2 would be too happy picking Tom Kench. Oh,
Yeah.
GP's huge, huge. Okay, and GP has a bad matchup in Solution, but it's I like that Dawan just overlooks it. Like they don't really care because it doesn't actually matter that much that
Mm.
Lucian has a good matchup in the GP. If GP can make it to Triforce, the game is in a really bad position.
Mm.
Where GP can actually have a really easy time, and GP can also go against Renekton. GP can just match Renekton, and then TF can just match Lucian. So even if they send Lucian,
You cut out there, buddy.
yeah, I got baited. It's Lucian 80 carry. It's whatever. It's fine.
Uh,
Hold on. Can you go back? I'm sorry. I
sure,
have to read.
sure.
Yeah, my brain
From
broke.
from here?
When they pick Silas.
Okay. So they pick
Okay.
Silas
Yeah.
and Rakan right
Pause.
now.
Yeah. So pause. Oh God. Okay. Uh. Yeah. So it's Silas. It's Silas, Renekton, and Lucian. So Lucian bot and Silas. So
Oh yeah, this is another thing. Well, I'm gonna let you finish your thoughts, and then I have a question to ask you about. Um, yeah. So finish your thoughts.
yeah. So GP match Renekton, and then I guess TF just matches Silas. It'll just be standard lanes, but then they just have Lucian, Rakan bot, and now your last pick support with Jin. Last pick support with Jin against this comp. It's like I just want to counter engage, where like I can just pick a tank. But is there anything better to pick? I'm not going to be able to think of it. Hold on. Is there anything better to pick than a tank here? I'm thinking out loud. Um, Pantheon's fine. Pantheon's banned.
Yes.
Pantheon would be really good against Rakan Lucian. Pantheon would be my pick if I could take it. My other picks that I'm looking at are like I'm looking for anything that can beat Rakan Lucian in bot lane so that this draft is really easy. But it looks like I'm just picking a tank because I think like Jin plus like Leona Nautilus is just gonna win. But I feel like there's something better that I'm not thinking of. But I don't know. It might just because I can only pick support with Jin, where it's just like Leona Nautilus looks fine. I would just take Leona Nautilus and outscale.
Mm,
Yeah, but what's up?
okay. So TF versus Silas is a matchup that I think we've seen over and over again since the quarterfinals. What are your thoughts on the matchup?
So
Or I guess
I
like
haven't.
the question would then evolve
Mhm.
into why do players pick Silas into TF? I mean, obviously the alt stealing the alt is huge, but like why does that matchup keep popping up?
So I think the question is like what
밤
distinguishes
10시
Silas
이후
from TF,
미성년자는
especially in
사용할
the
수
specific
없습니다.
matchup where it looks like
청소년
Silas is like a
여러분은
clone of
사용을
TF.
종료하시고 귀가해
But Silas has
주십시오.
to play very differently, where Silas like has to play aggressively early for advantages, like around level 6, where Silas wants to take TF's ult and like immediately keep fighting and snowball with his teammates, especially in a comp like this. And maybe it's just because I'm seeing a comp like this that I'm thinking this way. But in this game, the way that Silas TF will have to play is that Silas will have to try to play against TF in a way that he's getting a lot of advantages. If he's not able to do that, if he's not able to take TF ult and then TP top and dive GP, or TP bot and dive Jin, Jin plus support, if he's not able to dive somewhere with TF ult, then Silas will be ineffective for a lot of the game because Silas has now fit into this short range team comp that can't really do anything except like walk forward and even has weak engage. Like the only way they can really engage as well is like Rakan and Lilia, or like Renekton Flash. There's so many problems with how this team comp operates right now. Where I'm thinking like if I pick a tank or I don't know, maybe even Zyra's fine.
Mm.
Maybe Zyra's just good because
Zyra.
I can. Yeah. Maybe Zyra's just fine.
Okay.
Maybe it really is just fine.
Yeah.
Because if I can get out of lane against Lucian and Rakan, and the only way now I'm thinking of it more where it's like, oh, Silas has to take TF ult and then dive bot. So it's like, oh, if we're getting dove like constantly, like Zyra probably is the pick. It's either Zyra or a tank.
Mm.
But I have to think about it more.
Okay.
I'm in between. It's like it's gray right now in between Zyra or like Nautilus Leona. Um,
Hmm.
But the way that it looks in the moment is that TF can play as like as slow as he wants, and TF can just counter ult. Like if Silas is gonna take TF ult
Mm-hmm.
and then TP away,
Mm-hmm.
TF will just TP after him. And
Right.
if they want to like try to dive a turret on this timing, like they need a huge advantage. Even if they have like one extra person with numbers advantage, it won't translate into a dive, especially if it is something like Zyra
Mm.
in bot lane. And even if it's like GP with GP ult in top, even if you have like Renek, it would be Yeah, Renekton, Lilia, and then Silas with Silas ult, even like just GP ult and TF ult will be able to defend against this. So it looks like Damwon are going to be defend. They're going to defend against like every opportunity that G2 has to actually like make a play, as long as like TF keeps his options open. So I don't see how they actually win. Like the way that G2 wins is they have to individually gain advantages over their laners,
Hmm.
um, without really without really any response from Damwon. Otherwise, it'll be like a slow loss, like a gold lead that you would expect. If G2 are to win this game, the gold lead that you would expect to see is like we go to like 15 minutes or we go to 20 minutes and they have like 4 or 5,000 gold up, and it's like okay, they can win the game now.
Mm.
Um, I am, feel like I'm.
Also, you get that passive gold from GP and TF, right? So
Oh, true.
yeah,
Nice one, Dan. Yes, you're farming.
yeah. So I
That's
guess
true.
Damwon Gaming's plan is to basically play things out nice and slow, and with the extra gold that GP and TF gets, they would eventually just kind of bleed out, and they would have prio in just bleeding out G2. That's what you're trying to say, I think.
It looks like they have winning lanes and they outscale.
Okay. All right. Well, so okay, so let's go to game two. Again, we're only gonna talk about the draft. We're not gonna talk about the game. It's because talking about the game, the whole. Okay, hold on. Yeah. Yep. So Shen, Lucian being banned out. Syndra, Natalie. Just tell me when to pause, okay?
Okay.
So as you can see on the scoreboard, Dominant Gaming is up 1-0 in this series after game one. And then the Lilia ban comes out for G2. I feel like Lilia is almost like people now expect Lilia, or a team with Lilia to almost always expect a level one invade into raids.
Yeah. Yeah, they Raptors invade and try to get too early and then try to outfarm you.
Yeah.
Oh, you can pause
Pause.
after they pick two here. Pause after they pick two.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
They probably just match with Kindred. Every Worlds team just like picks Kindred here. Oh, hello. I don't know. It's not. I don't. It's whatever.
Okay. So
Okay.
they
Yeah.
pick
Pause.
they pick the TF.
Um. This is interesting. It's favored to G2 right now because I think Kindred is just overall better than Graves and more flexible than Graves. And then picking TF, if you like force the opponents to pick something like, and by force I mean like mind control them into picking like Grave Silas,
Mhm.
and then like Renekton or something.
Mhm.
Again, you're like opting into this super short range team comp that has to engage, and you have to get a lead early, and you're playing against like this long range team comp that has like Kindred ult and TF ult, and you'll even add like more AOE's as we go. Like I imagine G2 might pick something like GP if they see Renekton, and like the
Mm.
game can get harder and harder. But okay, play from this point, and yeah, we'll see how this.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
That's not coming out.
It's Ivern top. Oh, it's Graves mid. Ivern jungle. Okay, they pick Ash. That was third.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're seeing that's like it's just low range, and they have to go in.
Mm.
They pick like Graves and Silas. So we went a little too far. So we see that just insta lock Camille.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Now you have Camille and TF and Kindred all like working together towards like a very like similar idea that is really strong against this theme that
Mhm.
they're going for. Just we'll keep playing for this fight, but G2 are ahead.
Okay.
Oh, I don't even know why they banned Renekton. They would. That's bad. They shouldn't ban Renekton. They should
Okay.
want them to pick Renekton into Camille. because like they have TF ult, even if it's like Silas TF, it's like the same idea where if they're trying to dive Camille with
Mm-hmm.
Renekton, like you want them to pick Renekton because then they opt into this like Graves, Ashe, Renekton, Silas comp. That's all short range. They have to engage. They have to dive. If they can only do this one thing to beat you,
Mm-hmm.
you want them to be doing it. Easy to play against. That's all you have to think about. Now you're a
Yeah.
pro player on stage at Worlds, and the only thing you have to think about is, oh, they're just going to try to dive me, or they're just going to try to invade me. It's the only thing I have to avoid
Mm.
getting punished by. So it's very easy to play against. If I can just escape the first 15 minutes of the game,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just get out of the game. I'll just fly past the rest of the game. So let's see.
So the Caitlyn Tompkins coming out with their round two bans from down one, and Renekton Pantheon. Obviously, you stated why Renekton's bad. And then Pantheon, I guess it's. I feel like it's just a comfort pick for Beryl, where he's just too good on the champion, maybe, or maybe does it like disrupt the theme, or does it like disrupt? Like, does it really deter G2's team comp? What do you think?
Nope. You want Damwon to pick Pantheon here because again,
The short
it does
range
this
engage.
short range engage, has to do all these things. Now you picked Leona as well, so now
Hmm.
when they actually do this like this engage and this dive that they have to do, you
Yes.
would love a character for like Pantheon to be diving into Leona, diving into Camille, diving into Kindred ult, diving into Gold card.
Mm,
You want these characters to be doing that. So when you take away like Pantheon and Renekton, there's really like no good reason for it. I mean, the question does come up. This begs the question like, who do you actually ban here? And there might not be such a good answer for who do you ban. I'll think for a moment.
mm. Should I keep playing or
Yeah, you can keep playing.
okay?
So I think what you're instead looking to ban is just like forms of hard engage that can actually kill your team comp before you can respond.
Mm,
So I'm thinking of characters like Ornn, characters like Malphite,
hmm.
characters like um, not set. Uh, oh, oh, okay. So I kind of agree with Donwan actually. I think Fiora is the only way you'll win this game. I think the draft is just doomed, and that Fiora fifth pick is actually really good. That's
Mm,
a really good idea that we can actually try to win the game through split pushing because I think if I look at my first four champions that got drafted, I'm really nervous,
mm,
especially if I'm Nuguri on stage. So I'm thinking um, I'm gonna pick Fiora into Camille and try to 1v9 the game because it doesn't seem like I'm gonna win the game any other way. So I actually really like Fiora. I don't like Set. Um, but again, this really begs the question: like, what do you pick? Draft is in such a bad position. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot you can pick. And
right.
like the problem here is like with our first three champions that we brought in were Graves, Ashe, and Silas, and they funnel us into this idea that we like have to dive them and we have to get these early advantages. So yeah, I think Fiora is a good idea, but it feels like the only good idea in the draft.
Is there any other champions like you said? You have to kind of, if you're down one, you have to split push to, basically
Yep,
1v9, right?
yep. You
Do you
could pick
think?
Jax.
y- Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the champion I actually wanted to ask you about. Do you think Jax would have been better because of how easy Jax does into Camille? Camille.
Yeah, I think Jax is good because they have four auto attackers.
Mm,
So I think Jax is strong here.
okay. All right. So let's move into game three. Uh, where is it? All right. From here, again, just tell me when to pause. Tell me when you want to share your thoughts. So the score's even up now.
Hmm.
Obviously, the Fiora pick didn't work out for Damwon.
Yeah, again, I'm trying to understand the bans, but like Ornn and Volibear just seem to be what they're defaulting to. And I don't know what their third ban would be, like Twisted Fate or something. And there's a red side. Like, okay, Silas.
I think the Nidalee ban is. Canya's just too good on the champion, and Nidalee, she's really strong right now too. So.
Yeah, it seems like these bans are mostly target bans. They're mostly just targeting other players' champion pools. Uh, I don't know why people play Jhin first pick.
Do you want to explain a little bit more into that, or?
I just I don't see it as a super useful champion to first pick, and it's not flexible. So
Mm,
you're just picking your AD carry on first pick, and it's not even like such a huge advantage that you're getting for yourself. It's not like there's nothing you can pick into Jhin, and
mm,
it doesn't give you like any ambiguity in the draft. So you're really just picking your AD carry first.
okay.
Um, but even when teams pick things like Kindred and Graves, they never intend on actually flexing these champions outside of their roles.
Mm,
So you could give the same criticism this way, that even though Graves and Kindred could both be flexed into lanes, they aren't, and they could be better champions in that way. They could
okay.
be better used for their draft.
Right.
Well, it's like competing themes right now where I'm not sure what G2 actually wants to do. Um, I'm preferring Domwon's draft at the moment, but it might change.
Okay.
Ash. I don't know why it's Ash. I mean, it could just be Caitlyn.
Mm.
But I don't know if there's much of a difference. I'm trying to think if there's much of a difference here.
So the Bard and the Renekton band comes out from round two of these of from Dom1 and G2 respectively. The second band is Tom Kench from Dom1.
I'm confused at the moment as to who's winning. It looks like now in my brain it sits like fairly even, but I want to favor red side draft at the moment.
Okay.
But when I look at Graves versus Kindred, I value Kindred much higher. When I
Mm.
look at Ash Jhin, I'm not even sure why people are picking Ash like Ash into Jhin like this.
Mm.
When there's so many champions that I think could like fit better. Maybe it's just for this combo. Maybe just pick Ash Lulu. Lulu's a flex too.
Mm.
Why didn't Lulu come in earlier? Is Ash gonna get banned? Why can't it just be Lulu 3? Oh, but this Lulu pick's so good.
Then G2
Oh
coming out
wait.
with Scion.
Oh, but you just got. Oh, this could be Thresh. Oh, there's so many ways to beat this Pantheon pick. It's a Lulu flex top. Oh, Damon's just better at drafting. That's crazy.
Mm.
But I don't understand. I want to go back to where they third pick, and I want to put Lulu in place instead. I don't understand why it would be different. Why Ash third pick? Why not just Lulu?
So
Lulu
you
just third
mean
pick Lulu here.
you mean right
Yeah,
here, right? Okay.
yeah, just third pick Lulu because it gives more opportunities to pick different AD carries. Where now I can pick AD carries like Twitch and Jinx more easily when I late pick them, because I'm red side.
Right.
And this loop pick is me. So when you're on red side, you can pick a lot of different flex picks, and you can pick counter picks with flexibility as well.
Mm.
So when you see, oh, you could pick GP as well. This is such a crazy spot in draft.
Mm.
Uh, so if I pick GP on 3, I can
Mm-hmm.
pick fourth pick Lulu,
Mm-hmm.
but then I'm trapped. So I don't know if I can do this GP way of doing things because GP can't move because I have Syndra. So it looks like I would much rather do Lulu here, and then
Yes.
I would just late pick. I would just late pick AD carry and then late pick support. But I don't know which one I would do. So if I pick Lulu here, um, let's see. Then I could pick AD carry on 4. I could just pick Ash. I guess it's very similar. I
Mm,
guess this is a very similar result.
okay.
But I don't see a reason to pick Ash on 3. Maybe they're afraid of it getting banned, but I don't think you are afraid of it getting banned. So I guess
Mm,
the result would be very similar. But
okay.
uh, the Lulu pick's really good.
Mm.
The Lulu pick's like it's uncharacteristically good. I don't know how they. Maybe Lulu is just like getting very popular in like Korea or Chinese solo queue.
So fun fact, Noguri was the first one to pull out top Lulu, right? And
Mm,
I don't know if you know this guy, but there's a you remember the guy that's been playing like Janna top, Sona tops, Raka top in
yeah,
Korean solo
yeah,
queue, like high
yeah,
Korean
yeah.
solo queue?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he started playing top Lulu,
Mm-hmm.
and when I spoke to Noguri in a one-on-one interview, he said that he started learning from that guy. Like he just started watching streams, picked up some of the habits that he does on Lulu and like the matchups and stuff, and then that's where top Lulu started coming out. Like that's when Noguri started pulling out top Lulu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a really good pick. This like 4 pick Lulu is really strong. Because it baits out a pan pick. I don't like they don't even consider it as a flex pick. They just like they think it's actually Lulu and they pick Pantheon and then it flexes and the whole draft gets turned upside down. I wouldn't be
Right.
surprised if Damwon like doesn't have any problem with this game because now you have a draft that looks like a Kali and Pantheon with like Kindred and Jin. You're gonna force Kindred and Jin to like walk way farther forward than they want to. Like the whole draft is really ruined now. I don't even think it really matters like who the top laner is at this point. I think they pick Sion.
Mm.
But no, it is a disaster now where like Sion has to engage so that Akali and Pantheon are able to like follow up, but this is not what your comp wants to do. So it looks pretty clear. Like after this Lulu pick, it's really hard for G2 to actually draft against it. But yeah, it's so interesting that like Damwon um, is able to draft like this.
Okay. So let's move on to game four. Yada yada yada. So Damon, this is a four-game series, by the way. So obviously we know Damon moved up. Shen, Lucian, Syndra. Nidalee as a second ban for G2, and then Jin Ash being banned out on both from both sides.
Mm-hmm. TF first pick looks fine. I heavily prefer this to like the Graves first pick that we keep seeing. Oh, it's Silas Graves. Okay. This is really easy to draft against. It's really easy to draft against.
Okay,
You
so
just take
I mean
Kindred.
Kindred, yeah.
Yes, you take Kindred. And there's a million things you can take on 3 here. Caitlyn's really good idea to take Caitlyn here. But there's tons of picks you can take there. This is a really like creative position where you can look for like later pick 80 carry. And you can save this Caitlyn pick, but I think Caitlyn is fine because like the alternative is just that you like blind pick GP.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's more top lane options that are like blind pickable that would give you this big advantage. And I think Caitlyn is like the one of the better options. I think it's either like Caitlyn or GP, or maybe even like you pick. The other option is you do something like Kindred Karthus, but I don't think you want to do it with TF against this comp. Yeah, no, I think Caitlyn's like really high on the list to pick here.
Could they not
Uh,
have just picked Lulu instead for Caitlyn?
Kindred Lulu.
Yeah. Or is the 80
Lulu
carry pick
flexible
better?
top.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see Ornn yet. So if I blind pick Lulu support, Lulu top, I think I would rather do Caitlyn.
Okay.
But hold on, I have to work it out because I'm not totally sure why. It's because I want to secure the long range, but I need to figure out if I need that.
Mm.
Because if I pick Lulu and then they pick Senna like here,
Mm-hmm.
I can just take like Jinx. I
Mm.
can take tons of stuff. I can take like Twitch, Jinx. I can take tons of like hyper carry, AD carries, Kog'Maw. Because now I see Ornn. And I see that they're all like very short range. So like
Mm,
now Clockblock goes up, Jinx goes up, uh, even Twitch to some extent goes up, but probably less. Um, this is interesting. But I think Lulu's fine. It looks like GP's fine. It looks like Caitlyn's fine.
mm,
There's so much creativity you can do with this third pick because when you get TF Kindred, there's so many different spots. But I'm thinking instead of like this TF pick that Worlds teams seem to be really really interested in, I think you could just pick Karthus first pick and you could flex it 4 roles. So if I do Karthus first pick and I do something like Graves Silas, then I can just take Kindred and now I have Karthus Kindred and
mm,
now Kindred can flex into jungle and she can go AD carry with something like Tarek or any like CC tank support. Or she can go even like top lane, and I think it would be less viable for her to go mid lane, but she can even go top lane after jungle and AD carry. And Karthus can play 4 roles, every role except support.
mm,
Um, so it looks like there's so much flexibility with something like Karthus Kindred, but it doesn't seem like people care so much about this flexibility.
mm,
So they like value in things like TF Kindred over Karthus Kindred, but maybe it's just because people can't play Karthus.
mm.
I'm not sure exactly why it is because it seems like for a lot of different reasons that like Karthus with 4 flex viability and Kindred with 3 flex viability would be a better one to open up with.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think maybe it's just like a lack of experimentation with picks like Karthus or like flexible picks in general or like an undervaluing of flexible picks in general. Where I think something like Kindred Karthus would be really good, but it doesn't seem like people like to see it. Uh, Damwon wins, of course.
Okay.
The set pick is really bad. I don't know why they ended up picking set when like GP's open and GP's such a huge pick here.
Right.
Um, but it doesn't seem like they can lose this game.
What makes GP so good? I guess. I mean,
Uh, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So like, what makes them so good?
so when I have Caitlyn
Hmm.
on my team and I have TF on my team, now when someone is laning against GP who has a global ultimate, um, GP has like pressure on the side of the map. Where now, if you're laning against Caitlyn, it feels like you're going to get pushed in because it's Caitlyn, and the jungler is going to path towards Caitlyn,
Hmm.
and then you're getting pressured by TF ult, even if Silas can match it. But now you're adding on top that like GP can ult at any time.
Hmm.
So GP has a good matchup spread as well, where there's a lot of lanes that normally push in like tons of different characters in League, but GP can match this. GP has like very very few like really bad losing matchups where he gets pushed in all the time. So you have this character that generates bonus gold, who has a global ultimate, um, and can push in so many different lane matchups that he becomes very oppressive as a blind pick, where there doesn't seem to be very many good answers to GP if someone really understands how to play him. Um, the difference between like GP and Set, for example, is
Hmm.
that I know what Set's going to do. Set is going to try to beat my Ornn early, and
Hmm.
if Ornn ever gets level 13, my Set will never kill Ornn again. But even if Ornn hits level 13, GP can still kill Ornn if like the circumstances are right. And
Right.
there's like a TF ult, or even if like Kindred can come gank. But it's very difficult for me to see like Ornn level 13 ever dying to even like Set and Kindred ganking like post level 13. So all of like the damage that Ornn is going to that Set is going to do to Ornn is
Hmm.
going to be all in the early game and all in like the first few waves where it's very predictable and it's very like see through, which is why like you want to keep your options open and you want to have the ability to do more things in the game to have more options. So if your opponents choose to do an option or they commit to an option, you have like the flexibility to do whatever you would need to do to beat that option. So if you only have this one style, this one mode to act off of it, it limits you in a lot of different ways and it makes the game hard to play and it puts responsibility on you to do that one thing really well.
Mm. Okay. All right. Let's move on to Suiting versus Tess. Here we see Freak talking. Yeah, let's start from here. So Camille Kindred coming out for Tess as their first 2 bans, and Suning's response is Lucian Syndra ban, and then the Graves being banned out by Tess. and then in Italy.
So the first picks are really confusing. I really don't have a clear idea of like why teams seem to like the first pick gen or like what value it seems to bring
Hmm.
to a team fight or to like laning even.
Yeah.
Um, I just don't think I'm seeing like the value that other people are seeing. And there's a lot of responses to it that seem to be like really valuable. Like if I could get the circumstances for a late pick 80 carry where I pick Jinx or something, or even if I just pick like uh Caitlyn,
Mm.
just pick Caitlyn or even like Ezreal, and I'm just like going even, or I'm just pushing in Gen. It doesn't seem like this character is really worth a first pick because it doesn't have this flexibility where the opponents don't really know what you're drafting, and it also like doesn't really have this like super good matchup spread where it's like it doesn't really destroy other laners.
Mm.
So I don't know like what the appeal is.
Now, Suning picked Lee Sin as the first pick.
Yeah,
I mean, okay, so like,
they picked Lee Sin and Ezreal
and Ezreal
and Azir. So
and
what is Lee
Azir.
Sin gonna do? Lee Sin is going to use his flash to kick somebody in to Lee Sin and or to Ezreal and Azir, and hopefully like that character dies. Otherwise, like Lee Sin isn't gonna do anything the entire game. Like Lee Sin doesn't really have a purpose if you're gonna pick Azir and Ezreal right next to him. So, but I don't know. I'm just
I
you
mean,
know
S2FM's really good at Lee Sin. Like, he's like when he plays Lee Sin, it's like people say that he's like on the he's a different Lee Sin player compared to the other Lee Sin players.
yeah. So when like comfort picks are going above like what's good for a draft,
Hmm.
I think a lot of I think a lot of teams haven't really experimented enough with like the different champions that you could pick, or the different ways that you could play the game, or the different ways that you could think. So they feel like they get more success, and maybe they do get more success playing Lee Sin, or playing a comfortable champion, than playing a champion that actually fits within like the way that the rest of your champions want to play the game. Because his Ezreal and his Azir are not going to be happy that he wants to like jump in and kick somebody into his team, or like jump into the back line and like dive somebody. Azir and Ezreal don't want to be doing that.
Right.
They want to stay long range and they want to be poking, and they want to actually like get 3 and 4 items to the point where they can't actually be killed by a team comp that has like Pantheon and Jason set in it that's going to run into you.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, lots of problems with both team comps right now. But oh, they're gonna pick Wukong. I have to think about it because it's Wukong and the Wukong is an answer to Jace. Um,
So this is the final. Hmm.
I think SN.
Mm.
Sunny.
Suning
Yeah,
wins draft here.
it's too. It looks for me. It looks way too difficult to be able to kill Ezreal and Azir. I don't know how they're actually going to do it. It's like you have to kill them with like shock blast, but like Orianna can't even reach these characters, and Orianna is probably your longest range champion, other than like Jace using shock blast. Um, it doesn't seem to be an important factor that like Lee Sin feels like he has to engage, or Wukong might feel like he has to engage, or even
Mm.
Rakan might feel like he has to engage. Um, because if you just don't, you won't lose the game. You'll just slowly win it.
Mm.
And you'll get to a point where Azir and Ezreal have poked them to a point where if they do actually choose to walk forward, you can engage now because they've committed too hard, and you can actually commit to an engage and actually end up fighting and winning. But the circumstances have to be right for this. But I think there's problems with both comps, but I think Sunin has a big advantage.
Right. And this was apparently an NAJ's game, so
Oh, I guess Wukong is the counter pick here.
yeah.
Oh, lol.
Yeah. So game two. Yep. So somehow Suning won despite being test ahead, being ahead by a mile in that last game. Suning was able to turn things around. And that's why it was an NAJ's game.
Someone break down first pick Gen. Fudge, you in chat? Where are you
is
guys?
is Fudge in chat? I don't know. Here, let me pause for a second.
Why is Jin first pick? Someone tell me. Why not just like Ezreal first pick even? So
Yeah,
many better first.
Fudge
Even if
is
you
in
want to pick
chat.
AD carry. I need someone to break it down for me. Why do you first pick this like no flex champion that like I don't even see Jin winning lane guys.
And then again, it happened. Lisa and Ezreal.
Yeah, these champions like disagree on what to do, but um, it can happen for a lot of different reasons that these champions get picked. Oh, is Evelyn getting picked? Oh, it's Zoe. But then, damn, why
Why? Here, let me
why
pause.
can't why can't Jin just be Ezreal and Ezreal Zoe?
Yeah.
If this is the idea, you just pick Ezreal Zoe. Now you have a poke comp, but then you pick Jin instead. I'm not sure why. So what's your third pick here? I mean, I'm so confused now. It's like Kindred or something. I guess you just take Kindred, but I'm confused.
Oh
Okay,
my God,
sure,
you're a prophet.
but it just no. I'm just uh, okay. Um, I'm putting Sunin ahead right now. Maybe I'm not. I'm not sure actually. Oh no, I feel like a dummy right now. I can't tell. This is the one that I don't know. There's so many things. There's too many confusing things. If it was just Ezreal Zoe, I'd have such a clear idea.
Mm.
Uh, no, I need like a couple more picks, but I feel like I should know right now with these three champions versus these three champions. Uh, no, I'm putting Tess ahead, but yeah, it feels like it's too close in my head where I'm missing something. I'm putting Tess ahead though,
Okay.
and
Ornn and Bard.
and then GP respawn. Um, okay. So Lee Sin is like obviously a huge problem. Where
Mm-hmm.
if we pick like even if it's just like Kindred Ezreal, this
Mm-hmm.
comp is like way better, and then we take away Kindred from our opponents. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm thinking for a moment through these drafts. Because intuitively, I feel like the red side comp is going to win, but
Mm-hmm.
this is the hardest one for me to verbalize why I feel like the red side comp's going to win. Uh, I feel the slowest right now to like make connections to why this comp's going to win. Because we top is like fairly even, but most people would think that's like GP favored. That's fine. You could say it's GP favored. Um, mid is also like again we're thinking of this as like pretty even. But I would say again looks like slightly around the favored. I feel like intuitively I feel like that TS doesn't have really losing lanes. So I'm trying to think of ways that SN could actually win with like better team fighting or like better 5v5 in some way. Because I'm having a hard time verbalizing why I feel like Tess is winning this draft.
Mm.
Um, and maybe it's because I'm fixated on Lee Sin
Okay.
so hard. But I don't think it's actually a problem in this draft. I think Lee Sin is bad,
Mm-hmm.
but he won't lose the game for Tess. So I think Tess are winning this draft. But I think Kindred is like way higher value than Lee Sin. And there's a lot of problems with how Lee Sin fits into this draft, but I would still
Right.
say Tess wins.
Okay. Yeah. Let's move on. Game three starts here. Camille, Lucian from Tess and Suning. Scores evened up 1-1, 1-1. Pretty sure that was
Yeah.
a.
So Lucian ban on red side makes me think that like teams are gonna first pick Lucian on blue side, and like I don't see why this is like a bad thing or something they should be afraid of, especially while you're red side and you have access to like red side third pick Malphite ban Silas. When you have access to options like this, it doesn't seem like there's anything to be afraid of for like Lucian first pick. Where I don't know why teams are banning Lucian so often. When it seems like there's so many answers to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many ways to play around it. Oh, that's really interesting. Test banned Kindred Graves. I found at least one connection between these bans where it's like, oh, we want to ban Kindred Graves so you can pick Lee Sin, but then you first picked Lee Sin. So, we picked Ezreal, and now the draft is kind of over.
Yeah.
Um, so this was the first like thought I sort of pulled out of the bans,
Mm-hmm.
but it looks like a very like underwhelming thought. That we're gonna ban Kindred and Graves so that we can first pick Lee Sin, and then Israel Oriana comes out, and there's like nothing that can save it at this point. It's just over. We picked Lee Sin. So I guess the big question here is like, what jungler are you actually going to pick?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of different ways to think about this. Hecarim is a good option here.
Lilia's up too.
Oh, Lilia's out. Take Lilia. Yes,
Yeah.
take Lilia. Then you pick 80 top for Ben. And then Ben plays a bunch of different top laners. They banned Camille. Ben would love to play Camille.
Mm-hmm.
Ben plays like Camille, Jax, Wukong. We have tons of 80 top laners, so we can pick an AP jungler. So we could pick tons of different AP junglers here. Actually, we could actually pick like Brain Blast Stan. We could pick like Karthus, Evelyn, Lilia, Echo. It's tons of champions we can pick because it's just Lee Sin.
Ben also plays a mean GP.
Oh, it's perfect. We can play. We have so many 80 top laners. We can just take an AP jungler.
Mm.
Um, and we have so many AP junglers. We don't even have to take it on 3. So I think we should pick. Oh, they're saving counter pick for top lane. So there's a lot of different creativity here because you're winning drafts so hard. So there's so many different ways you can take it. Where like GP here is really big on 3. They want to save counter pick for top. So I get the assumption that they're not going to pick GP. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the other ways that you could take this draft is you third pick something like Karthus that flexes into jungle and top. Um, and Kindred's banned, so our different ideas here, like we take Karthus and we flex it mid and top, and then we would have to pick like a fourth pick that could also go into that area, and then we last pick support. So I would have to think of another jungle top flex that would have a good matchup against the 4-5 picks. So generally, like flex picks here are like the way to think about things. Like on this pick right here, a flex pick is what you're looking for, but you need a flex pick. Like Shen. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we found a flex pick. It actually goes jungle top. Okay. Oh, they found it. Whoa. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay.
It's
So now
crazy.
now they have jungle top to flex between. Um. Okay, they picked Echo. And they have like Kate Lux Echo, but why would they pick Echo if they have Kate Lux? And they picked Renekton, so I could go jungle Shen, and I could go GP, I could go Shen top, and I could pick million junglers. Um, there it is. But I don't know, like Ben can play so many champions here. He's just gonna pick Jax, I guess. But I mean, I would pick GP, but I guess he's just wants to play Jax here. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
yes. But this fourth red pick here, when you're able to flex it, it's very hard for your opponents to pick. Like they picked Renekton and they picked Renekton into Shen. So there's like there's not a whole lot of options where putting Shen into the jungle here is not an issue when you're
Mm-hmm.
against like these like short range and Renekton, Lisa, and Echo. And like Caitlyn Lux is not gonna have a fun time because the rest of their team is just melee minions. So they'll be like running forward, but they'll never be getting like the huge advantages that they want through like Siege with Caitlyn Lux. So they'll never actually be able to fully use it.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like this red side comp's gonna win, and they won in a really interesting way again with these like this flex picks on red side that are really strong. It
Mm.
is interesting. I think these drafts are like super high level, but it's interesting that people are sort of like it feels like they're catching on to like being able to draft flex picks at really important timings like on red fourth pick.
Mm.
But like flex picks can become like very obnoxious if you think them through really hard. Where if I could pick like a 4 flex and a 3 flex, like the entire draft, you just have no idea where my champions are going.
Right, right,
So
right.
it's so annoying to draft because you have to draft into multiple champions. So now when you ask your top laner, for example, what do you want? It's like, oh, I need to find a champion that can beat Karthus and can beat like Shen, for
Mm-hmm.
example, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. I need, and then there could be a third counter pick where they put like Shen support, Karthus jungle. They put Karthus mid, Shen jungle. They could put like Shen top, Karthus AD. There's so many different iterations of these drafts where it's like, oh, I have to draft against two characters that are on my screen and a mystery character that isn't on my screen that they could counterpick with. So I can't. I have to pick a blind pick character that is able to beat or go even with both of the characters that are on my screen, so that they couldn't pick a counterpick to my blind pick character that would actually like cause me problems. So
Right.
these like this is like it pressures your opponents a lot too because they only have 30 seconds. So it's kind of like you're just melting their brain by picking these flex pick characters because there's too many things that they have to think about. You're just overloading their senses because they have to go through so many draft iterations where it's like, oh, I have to draft against so many different characters. And if you've thought these things through beforehand, it's so easy for you to go through this draft without any problems.
Okay.
So yeah, this is an impressive draft, but like it's just an impressive draft for like the standard that we're at right now, where drafts can get really crazy and really obnoxious. But at the point we're at, it's like, oh, you guys flexed picked, nice. So yeah, there's not a whole lot of creativity going on right now in draft, but
Mm.
this is a start.
So a fun fact, a fun fact for SFM. This is apparently the first time that SFM actually played River Shen. Like he hasn't even like scrimmed it. Apparently,
Oh, he just picked it for the flex pick.
yeah.
That's how you do it.
I
That's a
think,
good idea.
yeah, it's a really good idea. And as we head into game four, well, they
Mhm.
obviously win this game because the series was a 3-1, right? And start from here. Suning's up 2-1. Obviously, the first time River Shen strategy worked, and then I think the flex pick really threw them off here. Um,
Mhm.
so the
But
Lucian,
like, I don't
Camille.
know if they're gonna do it again. I think I was just gonna pick Jin, and I'm gonna freak out. I don't. I feel like I'm crazy. And like Fudge didn't explain the first pick Jin either. I'm lost. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, where are you, Fudge? We need you.
Ban Lucian and Caitlyn? I mean, is this just the setup picking Jin? I don't know what the formula is. I don't know what the secret code is to like pick Jin first pick.
Maybe they figured out just to pick Ezreal. And then the Azir band coming out from Tess.
That's fine.
I think the Azir ban is more of an Angel target ban. I think from what I heard, Angel plays. Angel's like,
Now,
hmm
oh, okay, there it is. Thank God it says real. Yes, but I think there's so many different champions you can first pick, and our first picks are being like really underutilized. There's like no creativity going on with first picks where we could be picking like Karthus first pick and go into 4 roles. We could be picking like Kindred first pick, bring into 3 roles. Like even Graves can
hmm
slot into mid and top and jungle. Or like Graves is a 3 flex as well, but he's
hmm
never utilized. He's never actually used for these like purposes. They're just picked to go into their one role. Oriana Graves not super weak. This is pretty like standard right now, where I'm like waiting on this third pick to say who's gonna be like super far ahead. Um, they don't like Akali.
Yeah, I didn't like the Akala either when I first saw it live.
So yeah, right now I'm favoring or an Oriana comp
Mm,
because it just has to do so much less, and it's like it's still easy to get out of lane. It's not
right,
like
right.
you're struggling to get out of the laning phase when it's like Oriana versus Akali,
hmm
and you're like Ornn versus X, and you're like going into Ezreal. It's
hmm
not possible to get out of laning phase.
Is Blind
Um,
Leona okay? What are your
no,
thoughts? No.
there's lots of picks that are strong against Blind Leona, and it gives away like what you want to do with your comp. So you should be saving support until Like very generally, you should be saving support until later on, unless you have a very good reason for it. Like if I see that support comes out super early in a draft like this, I'm thinking that like there must be a really good reason. You must be saving like your top counter pick. You must be
Mm.
saving like something really important. But it looks like you're just gonna pick like a pretty standard jungle top on the same timing. So I don't know why you picked support when you did. I don't know if there's a very good reason for it. And Leona in general is like pretty ineffective already against so many of these characters
Right.
uh, on tests.
Yeah, especially when you have Warren.
Yeah, it does very little.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna pick jungle top on the same timing, so there's like there's no confusion. If you're watching SN draft here, you know exactly where every character is going at every time. Oh, we're just gonna pick Jarvan jungle. Who cares? We're just a better team, I guess. So we're just gonna win no matter what we draft.
So yeah, you would give the draft over to Tess because of how much easier it is to execute that comp.
Oh, yep. And now, like when I look at SN's comp, it's like I'm gonna 1-3-1 with like Ezreal, Leona, Jarvan mid, and then like a
Mm.
Kali Jack side lane. And there's like so much shit going on like SN side where they have to coordinate so much to make anything happen, to make anything go well for them. And then if I'm Ornn, I'm waiting until level 16 and the game's over. I'm waiting until level 14 and the game's over. I hit level 14, I'm walking over to Ashe and I build a Baron item on her. And I just add 1,000 gold to her bank, and like the game feels really easy after that. So this is like in this game, it looks like Tom Kench is a good pick. It's crazy.
Hmm.
It looks like Tom Kench is useful for something in this game. So it looks like SN actually have a really hard time winning. But like, yes, obviously they do win the game. But yeah, that's interesting. I mean, that might be. I don't know if I got any of the results like the other results opposite where I said like the draft was one way and they ended up winning, but this one is like yeah, Tess should win this game and they end up losing. So it's really interesting how that ends up happening. I don't know. Is SM Bin just the best player in the world? True.
True. Bin is a very good player. He's a world finalist. Okay,
True.
so he's a
Yeah.
very good player. Um, now that it's all over, now that we looked over both series, I think that we need to compare like Damon and Suning. Like if you were like not just in terms of draft, right? Who would you give it to? Like I guess the standards of like that the answer could come from like who was more flexible, who was more quote unquote five head in terms of being more smart with the draft and whatnot. Between Dominant and Suning, who would you give it to?
I think Dom has better ideas in draft.
Domin. Okay. Um. So, I will go into. Hold on. Pro draft. So
Oh fuck,
Domin.
Dan, you're gonna have me draft some crazy shit for them. Okay.
But I want you to do this. So I want you to kind of like guide me through on what I should be doing, right?
Yeah, the bans are gonna be fucking hard. Okay. Where am I? Who's banning Lucian? It's like red side, blue side. They just ban Lucian randomly. Red side Lucian ban, blue side Lucian ban. Red side Lucian ban, blue side Lucian ban. Who cares? Just don't play Lucian.
Mm.
I don't know which side is actually going to end up banning Lucian. I'm clueless at this point who's going to
How,
ban Lucian.
how should we do this? Do you want me to give you the red side ban?
Okay.
Because, well, I feel like I'm gonna be just terrible when it comes to like, I'm not really confident in my own drafting skills. I guess, if
Oh,
that
do you
makes
want me to
sense.
draft? I can draft you some weird shit. Yeah, I can try to think of like some weird flex picks
How
to
about
try to
this?
demonstrate what
I'll
you're talking about.
I'll give you both links, and then you can show me how to do it. Or do you just actually no, that doesn't work.
I'm gonna
Fuck.
play a chess game with myself, Dan. Okay.
Hmm.
Single player chess.
Yes. Actually, I can do both. All right, so I'll do it, but you just kind of like guide me through it, okay? It's because I'm the one kind of like sharing your screen.
Yep.
Yeah, so just guide me through it.
So I don't think Damwon actually bans. I don't think Damwon actually bans Lucian.
Okay.
Uh, I'm pretty sure Damwon is better with understanding like these ideas.
Mhm.
Um, so I think Damwon was the team that was banning like fucking Damwon Blue Side. So Damwon Blue Side, uh, they're banning like ban Ornn first.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure they did this on Red Side. I had to look through. If you have a second, change it to Shen. Change it to Shen if you have a second. Shen, yes,
Okay,
better.
so this. Hold on.
Yeah,
Let me do it again. Fuck.
yeah, that's cool. It's fine. It takes me fucking too long to go through this.
Oh
The
no.
bands will be the hardest part, Dan. The bands are too crazy.
Okay.
I don't know what teams are thinking.
2020 finals. Lock. Okay.
Oh wait, no. I shouldn't be thinking about it. Like, okay, so this might be a lot easier than I think. Where
Okay.
like I can just ban if I'm down one, I just blue side ban Camille.
So if you're down one, you just first ban Camille.
Yeah, just first ban Camille.
Okay. And if you're red side, then
Red side on Suning. Okay, going through all of my options.
you have 20
Yeah,
seconds
yes, they're the team that bans Lucian. They will ban Lucian for some reason.
for some reason. Okay. Okay. And the second
I'm
ban.
pretty sure they do this very consistently. Um, so I'm thinking Damwon against Suning. What are they going to actually ban? Um, Now it might just be Syndra, but I feel like either team is going to ban Syndra on this like second phase. So I have to think through like
TF. Syndra.
Syndra,
Okay.
but I don't know what Damwon's gonna ban. It's crazy.
So the second ban here
Okay.
is Syndra. Okay. Sorry. I know that.
Yeah,
Um. Second ban here, Syndra. So second ban for Suning.
Suning against Damwon. Oh, you need to extend the time on this, Dan. It's going crazy.
Come on, you don't have time.
You can just ban Italy.
Italy.
Yeah, I assume they're just gonna like target ban.
Okay. So again, for those wondering what this ban is, this is Syndra here. And the third pick for Damwon is
Um, Holy shit! What do Damwon actually ban here? Do they ban something stupid like Jin? They might actually ban something like Jin here. I don't
Jin.
know what these people think. Ban Jin. I think it's meaningless. The thing is, like, the bans are the most complicated thing because it's just totally meaningless. Like, I have no idea how these people decide their bans. Where it's like, oh, Bin plays Camille, so we ban Camille, and it's like, that's it. And then SN versus Damwon is third ban.
Well, Suning tended to ban like Kindred Graves. That
Oh,
was
okay, great. We could ban Kindred. Okay.
Kindred. Okay.
Yeah, we could ban Kindred. Cool.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. So now we have like Damwon first pick. Now, I think what teams are gonna figure out is that like the rank they're going to go to next is that like Jin is overvalued
Hmm.
because I don't know what Jin is actually doing in these games. It doesn't look like he's doing a whole lot. So it's going to lean more towards like Caitlyn first pick or Ezreal first pick. Um,
Oh, sorry. We can use this pick ban draft.
okay.
So wait, hold on. Do I just drag it? Oh, ban one. Okay, so Team X, Damwon, Suning. So you said Camille first ban coming out from Damwon. You said right?
Yeah, Camille first ban. Because I don't know, they're just gonna ban Bin. I guess this is like as far as the thought process goes for these bans. It's like Bin likes Camille, get it out of here.
Okay. And then the second ban or the first ban from Suning is
I think I said they're gonna ban Lucian, which I think might actually be true.
Lucian. Okay.
Yeah.
Where's Lucian?
had Damwon banning Syndra, but I'm really not confident this will actually happen.
Domon
Um,
really likes this. Showmaker really likes to play Syndra.
oh, great. Then you could just ban Twisted Fate or Silas, but like I don't think either of those bans matter either. Um, but like I guess you're just banning Twisted Fate.
Twisted Fate? Okay. Where's Twisted Fate?
But I
Okay.
don't even think Angel plays Twisted Fate. It's like we're just target banning people instead of thinking about like how our comps actually work. This is what we're doing.
Okay.
We're just target banning people.
Right.
Second ban from Sunny is like you're gonna ban Italy.
Italy.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the third band from Damwon.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, Fudge.
Good chin.
Jin. Ghost really likes to play Jin though. Does that not change?
Ghost likes to play Jin.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess this is as far as it goes. Oh, it wins scrims. That's why Jin is good. Okay, we gotta ban Jin. We gotta ban
All
Jin.
right.
It's too good. It's too good in
We'll
scrims.
mhm.
Okay, we have to get these crazy variables out of here, like winning scrims. Okay. Now we're in a controlled environment. Everything makes sense now.
Mhm.
Okay,
So the
and
third
then
band for Suning would be
um, so there's so many different things you could actually make this. I don't know what I had it as before. Hold on. It could be just a jungler. It could be a Zir. It could be
Kindred.
uh,
We had Kindred the
we had
last time.
Kindred. Oh, we had Kindred. Oh, Kindred's a great idea. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it could just be Kindred
Okay.
because I think like Karthus and Kindred first pick.
Mm.
What if I don't do this? Oh no. It's too hard for them to think about. They won't make it to like Karthus Kindred. It's too crazy. Like the first pick is like the craziest first pick I think we're gonna make it to is like we're gonna make it past Jin and we're gonna like first pick Ezreal or Caitlyn. And I think like maybe if this is SN on blue side they'll actually first pick Ezreal. But I don't think I really agree with like either of these first picks. But uh,
Maybe Graves coming in from Damwon.
oh, they will lose, Dan. You can't just first pick Graves, Dan. Doesn't work like that. But what do
Well,
these people actually pick? Oh, they actually do first pick Graves.
yeah.
Slam the first pick Graves, Dan.
Okay. First pick Graves,
This
and
is what they do.
then R1 R2.
Okay. So now I have to pick something that isn't this in jungle.
They tend to
So
pick Ezreal a lot. First pick.
true, I could just pick like Ezreal Zoe. I could just pick Ezreal Azir. I don't want to pick Ezreal Lee Sin like they actually do, but this was tested that. Test picked Ezreal Lee Sin. Um,
Suning also picked Lee Sin first.
oh, okay. Just give them Ezreal Lee Sin then. I don't know how we made it here, but now they're picking Ezreal Lee Sin.
No. But for real, do you think they're actually gonna take? Maybe they'll just blind pick
If Kindred and Graves is banned, I think it's realistic that they will actually pick Lee Sin. Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately.
instead of
Yeah.
Lilia.
Yeah, that is the other option, but yep.
Lee Sin
I
game.
think it's yeah, I think it's just as likely they're gonna pick Lee Sin. Who knows what controls these things? It's really a coin's toss, Dan. Who
All
knows what
right.
controls these crazy ideas?
Yeah.
Uh, Now Damon on 2 or 3, we're gonna take some mixture of like we're gonna like take Silas here, and we're gonna take like Caitlyn, but we're
Well.
not gonna
Mhm.
really understand why. But it looks like this is what these teams like to do at this point.
Okay. So Silas.
Hold on, I might be a little off here.
Okay.
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about what if I took Ash Silas instead, but like Damon has actually done a draft that like looks like this.
Hmm. So Ash,
Okay, yeah, take a look at do Ash Silas, but what a disaster I'm building.
and then Silas. Okay. And then for R3,
give me a moment. This
Okay.
is a crazy draft. It's Twister banned? Twister's banned. Okay. Um,
They could just
oh,
pick a
this is
Zir.
so hard here. I'm deciding between like a Zir and Zoe. Some long range poke champion. I want to take a
Right.
poke champion with Ezreal, and I think they actually do too. But I don't know. Have they even soon even pick Zoe? They just pick Zoe and lose.
Joey's a fun
Yeah,
champ.
they just pick Zoe and lose. I mean,
I think they like to
Zir
put.
it is.
Okay, Zir. All right.
Lol. This is bad.
All right. Band four for red side.
So red side bans first, and they want to actually get a top laner on the fourth pick. A top laner that's going to flex top in support.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is where Suning can actually figure out how to pick Lulu. We can make Damwon ban this as well because Damwon did this on red side, so Damwon might understand that they're going to pick Lulu here. So I'm looking at champions that fit into like Damwon's team comp. That actually like prevent my characters from doing what they want. So if I want to pick something like Jax, something like GP, or something even like Ornn,
Mm-hmm.
what characters am I looking at that like beat these things? Um, so I'm looking for Jax and ooh, okay. Jax GP Ornn, something that beats like Jax GP Ornn. It's like I could ban Vladimir,
Vladimir.
but I don't even know if that's a problem because my comp is so long range. Do I even care about Vladimir?
Right.
It seems like there's so little top champions that I care about, and I can blind pick top so easily. It feels like maybe I should just be actually
Banning out
just banning
supports.
supports.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Now I'm looking at the supports that I want to take with Ezreal. Um. And Ezreal Leon is fine if you want to do this, and they'll probably do something like this. Or if I want Ezreal Leona, what supports am I banning from Dom1 that I actually care about? Oh wait, so now I think I'm just banning Lulu as Suning. Just
Mm-hmm.
ban Lulu.
Yeah. So the Lulu ban comes out.
And then Dom1 can ban like Jackson GP.
Jackson GP.
But I don't know why. Hold on. They might actually ban Jackson GP. The other option is that you ban uh, oh no, this is Sunny. Sunny's gonna ban like Lulu Pantheon. Okay, so this is okay. Um,
You're stressing too
it's too crazy.
much.
I'm like I have my own brain, and then I'm trying to like insert two different brains into my brain.
Right.
Um, so now if I'm Damwon, do I want to ban Vladimir? And no, it doesn't look like I care. Looks like I just want to ban like AD top laners. But do I care about supports? And they're gonna last pick support. But I can't stop them from last picking support. There's too many supports. There's too many good supports.
Mm.
It's like I can ban. I mean, I could ban like fucking Tom Kench.
The Thomas.
Yeah, I think teams will actually do this too.
And the last ban for blue side.
I'll go to red side.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Sorry. Red side.
yeah, I think the red side ban. Okay, think this red side ban.
Maybe Bard or
I was
Bard Pantheon.
doing. It's Bard. It's not Pantheon. You don't care about Pantheon. You only care about Bard here.
Bard.
Yeah, you care about Bard. You don't care about Pantheon.
Okay.
So also because you have last pick. If they want to blind pick Pantheon, there's tons of stuff you can do.
Right.
Um, so I guess the Dom one last ban is like Leona or Nautilus. I
Leonard.
guess it's Leona.
I think it's I think it's Leona too. Let's see. Where's L? Yeah. There we go. And then R4.
Oh fuck! I am just brain fried. Okay, looks like okay. I'm looking at GP.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I could also, if I'm bin, I can just blind pick jacks, I guess. But no, it's GP. Hold on, hover GP, but it might be Orn. Oh, it's Orn. Time to take Orn.
Orn. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
And then
wow, and then I don't know what the fuck to do because this team cannot just take GP. They can't just take GP and go support. It just doesn't work. So you need. Oh, I don't know what the fuck you're gonna take as Dom one. Okay.
I think they
Uh,
would just on a one-dimensional level they would just take GPA or either GP, Kennen, yeah, for Nuguri. GP Kennen.
so I don't know if they would actually do this, but I think you just put Silas top and then you take. Oh, you need something that pushes Azir.
Hmm.
Uh, okay. I mean, I want something that pushes Azir. I want Ziggs. I
Ziggs.
want Ziggs, but they will not take Ziggs. They will not
No,
pick Ziggs. Like, they will actually pick Oriana.
they will.
Uh, yeah, I think it was more realistic they would pick Oriana, even though like I want to put Silas top and then put Ziggs there. I think it's
Hmm.
more realistic they're actually going to take Oriana because they haven't like thought super far into it. Or they pick like something like Oriana and wow, what supports can they actually pick? Because I don't think they're just going to get away with Nautilus.
I
Um,
think they would just pick Pantheon.
oh, that Dom one lose, guys. If
Yeah,
they pick Oriana Pantheon, and that might sound realistic. I think that might actually sound realistic.
yeah,
Or maybe no, it's Braum. Yeah, they're gonna pick Braum. They're gonna
yeah.
do Oriana Braum, something like that. But Braum would be the support actually.
Or they've shown that they will just pick Set here. I mean,
Oh,
it's
I
not.
hope.
Yeah, I hope not too. But like they show
I think
potential.
okay. So I think you put Braum in four, and then the mid lane pick could look like Ziggs or Oriana. But something ideally you have something that pushes in Azir.
Yeah, but I think Oriana is the most realistic.
Okay,
Yeah, I think Ori.
and they probably pick Oriana like really
Yeah,
commonly. Um,
where's Ori? What the fuck? Oh, there she is. Ori would go here, and then Silas would go top lane, and then R5 would be what?
and then I'm fifth picking support. And if I'm SN, I'm fifth picking support with Ezreal. Um, I could just take Lux.
Lux. Okay.
Yeah, I just need a scaling enchanter support. Um, I don't know if they will actually do this, but I just see.
Test play Caitlyn Lux, not Suning.
And yeah, and this is with Ezreal too. Like I think Leona just maybe never gets banned, so
Yeah.
they just always play like Ezreal Leona like every single time. But yeah, let me think. Oh right, Crazy Worlds teams they pick Rakan. Rakan.
Rakan.
Uh,
Woohoo! All right.
uh, but no, they could be so many different support picks here. But I think
Hmm.
like Worlds teams will pick likely Rakan for no good reason. But Lux I think is a better idea.
What are your
Um,
thoughts on just R4 Shen and flex it into support and top? But I don't know, like if Sword Art actually plays Shen support, but
Yeah, so the reason I picked Ornn here was because I know that they can't take GP and Camille's banned. And if they take Fiora, they're like locked into a really bad comp.
Nuguri plays
Uh,
GP.
no, but they already have Graves and Ashe, where
Hmm.
their comp would be like Graves, Ashe, Silas, GP, and then Silas is locked mid.
Yeah.
So you only Silas becomes your only AP, and then like it becomes very easy to build against this entire team comp, where like the only thing I have to worry about is Silas
Mm,
doing magic damage. So if I take Ornn and then they choose to play GP, now they have a bad comp. I don't know if people are going to think this far into it, but yeah, it seems to be that like Ornn on 4 pick here causes a lot of issues
okay.
for blue side comp.
All right. Okay. Just one more of this, and then I'll let you go because you sound
Okay.
pretty tired. I just want to swap sides and then see how you predict maybe like the drafts go. Okay. So.
Okay, Dan, I think we're putting the same bands in. I don't think people are changing the bands based on side, okay? I think they're just
All
banning the same champions.
right. So Suning, B1. Do you just ban Jin because of scrims?
I mean, I think we're banning Jin like third pick or something. Um, so I don't know if Sunny just always ban Lucian.
Lucian.
Yeah, they're going to ban like Lucian and like, oh fuck, maybe they just ban like Lucian something Caitlyn. I don't know.
So what do you
Hold
think?
on.
Hmm.
Lucian first. I think they just ban Lucian every game, dude.
Hmm.
uh, Damwon on red side. Damwon on red side. We're doing this weird thing with like the Orin volley bear bans.
Right.
I don't know if they'll continue doing that,
Mm.
or why they were doing that in the first place. But yeah, let's just do like Orin volley bear Silas bans for like Damwon.
Orange.
Um, yeah, let's put
So
it. Let's put an Orin volley bear Silas bans, and then we'll put
Orn.
Lucian and Syndra Caitlyn. This is what they did, but I don't know like why they're doing this.
Did they not
Uh,
ban Nidalee and TF?
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
In the
So
games that I've
so
seen,
wait.
Dan, it's crazy out here.
So the Damwon bans. So Orn, Volibear, and what?
Orin volley bear and Silas.
Silas. Okay.
Yeah, and then we can put in a Nidalee band. We'll do like Nidalee Caitlyn bands for Suning.
Okay. So from here would be Nidalee, Caitlyn, right?
Yeah, we'll put in Nidalee Caitlyn.
So we'll just put in Caitlyn and Nidalee. Okay. B1. What are your thoughts?
It's Suning first pick. I think they will just take Ezreal. I think they'll actually just take Ezreal.
Not Jin?
Uh, yeah, not Jen. I think they'll actually take Ezreal. I hope so. They actually can take Ezreal.
Okay. And
So now it's like, is Dawn just going to do like Graves
Graves Ash or
or
Graves
like
Jin?
Graves Sin? Oh, Syndra's not bad now, so it could be like Graves Syndra or like Graves TF, like Graves mid, Graves plus mid. So put in like Graves, then put in plus mid. So it'll be like it could be Graves.
Graves or
Uh,
TF?
yeah, let's do Graves TF because I think this is a better idea than like Graves Syndra in this spot.
Okay.
So let's put in Graves TF, but holy fuck.
Hmm. And then
Uh,
B2.
Now we're tuning against Domwon. It's like the things I want to pick.
Hmm.
So I want to pick Zoe Kindred. I don't know if they'll actually do it, but Zoe Kindred looks fine. Um,
I think they would do Azir Kindred, to be honest, because of Angel's like favoritism towards Azir.
as if Angel just loves Azir, then
Yeah.
we'll give him Azir, and it's Ezreal Azir Kindred. It looks fine to me, guys. Looks perfectly fine.
Okay, so I'll give him Kindred Azir,
Mm.
and then R3 for
Uh,
Damwon.
yeah. So I need to hold open. So now I need to pick something into Ezreal unless I want to hold, but I don't think Damon's going to hold 80 carry pick. So I think Damon's just going to pick 80 carry on 3 if the draft looks like this.
Right.
Um, so if the draft looks like this and I'm okay,
Also, Suning might also pick up Kindred Galio.
Kindred Galio,
Yeah.
I think Azir's better because we have Ezreal already. If
Okay.
we do Ezreal Azir with Kindred.
Hmm.
So like I think Damon is going to pick something along the lines of Ash, and
Ash.
then try to pick like Lulu on 4 with Ash. So just take Ash on 3 is like probably along the lines of what they're going to pick.
Again,
Uh,
Ghost loves to play Jin, so would you still give him Ash over Jin?
oh, they might just pick Jen on 3 then. If Ghost loves to play Jen. If
Okay.
Ghost loves to play Jen, it might just be Jen, but it's in between like Ash and Jen. That's totally fine. And like I don't think it's like entirely like worlds of different picks here between
Right.
Ash and Jen. So yeah,
Right.
this is totally fine. Um,
Or red side fourth band.
so the red side bands that we're looking for here now, like teams keep doing this, so I'll bring it up again. But I think they're actually going to ban Tom Kench.
Tom Kench. Okay.
Yeah,
For Damwon. and Suning.
Okay. So, if I'm Sunni now, I'm looking to ban like top jungle flexes. So I'm versus Red Side Dom 1. I'm banning Lulu. Probably gonna ban Lulu Shen.
Lulushan
Probably banning Lulu Shen.
for Suning, right? Blue side.
Yeah, yeah, Lulu Shen. Um,
Lulushan and Damwon is
yeah, and I'm Red Side Dom 1, so I don't care to ban Pantheon. So I think the only thing I care to ban is
Leona.
Bard.
Bard. Okay.
Oh, if I ban Leona, I could take Bard. Hold on. If I ban Leona, then I grab Bard, and then what do they do? Um, oh, that might be better. Ban Leona, take Bard.
Okay. Ban Leona.
Ben Leona take bar. Oh no, because I don't have to flex. So the champions that I want are the champions that like Suning banned here, where it's you want to flex these champions between mid and top.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I could take Bard, but Bard can't flex. But are there any champions I can actually flex between like top and support? Top and support? Yeah, top and support. Where it's like I could flex Gragas, but I don't know if Damon's actually able to do that. Where it might
Um.
just be better to pick Bard.
So I actually wanted to ask this question earlier. When I talked to a lot of the pros over over the entirety of this year, um, I, I would say about like 90% of them said that you want to counterpick a support.
Yeah.
Like that's what's favored in the meta right now. Do you agree with it?
Yep.
Like,
You want to pick support.
do you want to
Yeah.
provide
It's just
insight to it?
uh, so fifth pick support means a lot if the champion that you actually fifth pick and support like matters.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so here I'm deciding between like banning Bard taking Leona or banning Leona taking Bard, and the reason I'm doing this is because I want to pick a flex champ, but it doesn't seem like I can actually pick a flex champ. So the alternative is that I pick like GP or Ornn,
Mm-hmm.
but then they will take likely Bard, and then I
Right.
guess I can like five pick Pantheon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck, is that the way to go? Oh shit, maybe I'm just picking like Pantheon.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy. Okay.
Crazy,
Now I
right?
don't think that's winning, but I think that's a way to think about it where we're picking like GP, I guess. I think we're picking GP blind.
Okay.
Um oh no, wait, we can't pick GP blind. We have to take Ornn blind. Okay, no, we take Ornn blind. Okay, take Ornn blind.
For red four.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Where's Orn? Oh, Orn's banned, dude.
Nice. Nice. This makes it much harder for this red side draft, which is like I want to be in this position. Okay, cool. Because I think the red side drafts are so good.
Yes.
It's good that the Ornn being banned makes this more interesting, where it's not just like grab Ornn and then move on. So now if I take GP, what are they actually going to take? Style hover GP. Um,
They're probably gonna take Camille.
oh fuck, we didn't ban Camille. Okay. Um, oh cool.
You just bait them into taking Camille.
No, now I'm thinking of just taking support again because they're going to pick Jax or Camille.
Mm-hmm.
And if they take Jax or Camille, um,
Nuguri likes to play Kennen. Nuguri likes to play. He knows he can play GP.
oh, blind pick Vladimir. There we go.
Vladimir.
Yeah, blind pick Vladimir.
Okay. And then B4, B5.
Yeah, so Ibin's going to take like Jax or Camille. I think you just take Camille. I think you would just take Camille.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting some fucking crazy territory here. Okay. And then we're blind picking support.
Yes.
And I think this comp just takes Bard. Or Lux. Bard or Lux, you just take like a scaler. You're just trying to scale. You're just trying to scale and provide tons of utility for your team. I think it's
Yeah.
Bard. Um, and then yeah, I've landed in this world where I just last pick Pantheon. Yeah.
And
Yep.
then the Pantheon comes in for. Okay.
For barrel. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now again,
Uh,
so this is not like obviously this is just us making predictions on how um uh a draft can look in one universe out of many multiverses. Um, but yeah, Damwon Suning. Who do you think's gonna win? I don't know if you've watched a lot of the games, but like, do you think Damwon's just gonna?
Jesus, Dan, I don't think Suning's gonna draft this good. Okay, I think Damon's gonna win.
Okay. What's
Okay.
your prediction for the score?
Um,
3-0, 3-1.
I don't know. I think 3-1's been pretty safe. 3-1 keeps happening. I think
Right.
3-1's Damon.
Okay. All right. By the way, what time is it over there?
It's 9 a.m. Dan. I've been up
Oh,
all night.
oh my God.
It's
I'm sorry.
fine, Dan. Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry.
Okay. No,
Uh,
my sleep schedule's done for anyways.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. Lastly, do you want to plug any socials? Do you want to plug anything? Give a shout out to anyone?
I don't
No.
use Twitter. You want me to plug my Twitter? Okay. I'll
Sure. Tw-
I'll
uh,
link it in chat.
yeah. Twitter.com. Yeah.
Boom.
Twitter.com/ Max Waldo _ And with it, I'm gonna. Yeah. I mean, thanks for your time and thanks for tuning in. And this will all be up in video form, like the whole. I've been recording the whole thing, so I'll be uploading it on youtube.com/Invin Global. So yeah, stay tuned for more Worlds content and post Worlds content, and hopefully I'll be able to see you more of you guys back soon. And don't forget to hit that follow button. And I'm working on the. What am I saying? Anyways, thank you for tuning in.